Hello, wonderful listeners. Welcome to 20 Years of Failure, the space where we dive deep into the untold stories of my entrepreneurial journey, resilience, and growth. I'm your host, Oluwatoyin Gloria, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with each and every one of you. In today's episode, we're peeling back the layers of my own entrepreneurial saga, sharing the raw and unfiltered experiences that have shaped my journey. From the early days of soap making to navigating the vibrant yet challenging world of event management and overseeing a water factory. This podcast is a testament to the twists and turns that have defined my path. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfy spot and join me as we unravel the highs, the lows and everything in between. This is 20 Years of Failure and I'm delighted to have you here with me. Let's dive into the genesis of failure and discover the invaluable lessons hidden within. Without further ado, let's roll the episode. So, the genesis of my failure. That's what I would like to start talking about. But before that, I would like to speak on how the idea of entrepreneurship came into place. Whilst growing up, I don't know the exact date or when, but I realized that whilst growing up, there was this term that was being used in my house, which is we need to manage. Things were not like enough. Not like, I think I'm not from a poor home. Yes, I had a very good upbringing, but definitely not a rich. But the idea of hearing my parents say, oh, we need to manage, it's not enough, go to, I'm like, what's going on? Those words really hammered into my spirit deep down then. I was pretty young, but I just kept asking myself, why do we have to manage? Why? Why can't we just eat everything today, tomorrow, I probably because I was young, I didn't have so many ideas or whatever the world was about. But I just felt like I needed abundance. I didn't want to live a life of when I grew up, like I need to manage this, and all of that. So that's when I think that's when everything, the way I growing up and all of that, that's where it all started. So in 2003, I finished secondary school, being a member of YMCA from the church I actually attend. So there's this youth camp, the yearly youth camp that we actually do. And it was, the location was Taco Bay. So I can't remember the year right now, but I know that I attended the camp with my other peers. It was a youth camp at Taco Bay. And during the camp, we had this workshop, I think more like a vocational training. So we had a training on soap making. And immediately we finished the training on soap making after the camp. When I came back to land, because definitely you have to take a boat there. So when I came back home, I took it upon myself to start a business. And I called that West Infinity. It was just a regular name. I didn't register a West Infinity company. And I researched on where to get the materials to actually start making soap. So that's how the idea of soap making came in. And that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey. In between, luckily for me then, I got into the university in 2003 as well. So I remember vividly, after I go to Ojota, about the raw materials I started making. I really didn't have the structure of anything of whatever it takes to start a business, what it actually entailed, the regulations, everything. I had no idea. All I knew was I could make it. I learned it. So in the process of doing all of this, I had a lot of setbacks. Some of the challenges were logistic challenge. Secondly, I didn't have enough space. Then lastly, yes, definitely funds. So I started with what I had. I'm not sure how I had some cash, probably my parents, but I know I actually started with something. And with the little I had, I purchased some raw materials and started producing by the side of our house then at Ikeja. Then I started getting a bit of customers, and one of the major things that occurred at that point in time was I had this customer at VGC then that needed 25 liters of liquid wash. There was no logistics, nothing whatsoever. I wasn't a fan of Lekki. I didn't even know how Lekki was then. This was like many years back. So I took a bus, carried a 25-liter heavy keg. I think it was 2. Yeah. It was really stressful. I got to VGC, I delivered it, and I'm like, all my body was telling that, yes, I've suffered today. That one day that happened to me, I'm like, no, this can't be happening. Is this actually visible? It is going to keep working for me. I didn't know anything about branding. I knew that people used to print stuff, but I really didn't know much. The other thing that one of the other challenges was I realized that my palms started breaking out. I was using gloves, but still yet, baking soap is actually dealing with chemicals. But my palms started breaking out. I'm like, this thing is actually affecting me. And I didn't know how to go about it. So, one thing I noticed then was that I had this hardcover book that I used to record what I buy, what I sell, and what is left. So that's how I usually did my recording and accounting. So it helped me, and I realized, okay, yes, I'm making money. Yeah, not that much, but I'm making something, I'm doing something, I'm utilizing my time whilst I also attend school. I'm not sure how long that went well, but this first part of my life of starting to being an entrepreneur made me more responsible. My thinking faculty began to open the more. I started looking for a way to develop myself in terms of looking out for trainings, applying for programs that could actually shape me. To be honest, truthfully, I thought people, especially my loved ones, didn't want to support me because I felt I needed financial support. But possibly maybe that's not what I needed. Thinking about it while I was speaking to you at the moment, I didn't get the financial support. Like, okay, maybe someone could help me push it, market. Yeah, I did some branding, some sticker. I was selling in church, school, and all of that. But it actually stopped at some point. My first year at the university, Lagos State University, I came across an opportunity to event hostess, and that's ushering in 2004. So my soap making business lasted for like a year. And I just realized that I can't keep doing this. My hands keep peeling. I didn't have storage facilities. Some chemicals were just getting hardened. The difficulty in logistics, I didn't even know how to drive then. So I couldn't keep up. Buyers were not willing to pay too much extra. Just that was like a place for them to go to. So basically that's where it actually stopped for me. So in 2004, in school then, there was an opportunity to be an usher at an event, a wedding to be precise. So I definitely was excited about it. I was like, yes. It's not just a stand. Okay, I'm doing that. Nothing is stopping me from doing that. It's not just a stand, any money and all of that. Definitely, I'm going to do that. So that started for me and I became an usher. Or let me say an event hostess. I can't even remember how many events I went for in those years because I was attending events as an usher. I was getting paid and it was fun. It was interesting. Some of the challenges were the long hours of standing and yes, customers, the way clients actually, some might be nice, some might be rude to you. Sometimes we had periods where we'll be lost in hotels. I had fun with my friends. The money was really helping us then in school. It lasted for a while till I decided at some point I wanted to learn event management. That was much more later and I'll be delving into that later on. So in the midst of all of this, I remember that I started doing some modeling thing. At some point that was exhausting because there's a way you need to catwalk. I really had the height of 6 feet, the tall girls that mostly get the jobs. It was a struggle for a 5'7", and see, we have somebody that is taller than you. But yeah, truthfully, as you walk through life, there are disappointments. The way you embrace them is what really matters. But it was fun. Yeah, so back to the event management. I found a school to learn event management. Then I learned decoration, collected my certificate, and yeah, I started already. I think one thing about me is I think I know how to start stuff, but the tendency to continue to finish, maybe not. But yes, I know that I have never been scared of starting stuff, for starting a business. So I just keyed into it. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this. I started telling people about what I do. I started getting little gigs here and there. And I started with decoration. At that point, I would climb ladders, blah, 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 and everything. And one day, a friend just said, Auntie, what's wrong with you? Why are you climbing? Can't you get someone to actually do it? I was like, oh, really? Yeah, I think I can. So then I started looking for people to actually, especially young guys then, to actually work. Instead of me climbing ladders so I don't fall down, or, someone that is stronger than me. So I now focus on event management myself whilst I give out the decoration part, but tell them, explain my creativity and how I want things to be done. So I think 2008 August, I registered my first business, Tiamo Events. At some point, I called it Events by Tiamo, and I worked on Tiamo Events for 10 years, from August 2008. In between, I did other things, which I'm actually going to talk about. And honestly, my stories might not align like from this to this, but the thing is, I hope you can just speak out to one of the things as I speak, as I remember, because I'm just speaking naturally and just sharing my experiences with you people, like I was saying. So in the space of 10 years, I also did rentals and joined some organizations, EIN and the rest of them. I was able to network with colleagues that were in the field, from BCA to the rest of them. And in between those 10 years, 10 beautiful years, I love event management. I love event decoration. I absolutely love event planning. However, it was like more of a red ocean at that point in time. Everybody's sisters, brothers, cousin, uncle, niece is actually doing it. And even when you get a gig, by the time they price you, it's more like, at the end of the day, when you rent, you pay logistics. When I look at what is left, I'm like, oh my God, is this sustainable? At that point in time, I'm like, I'm growing. And yes, it helps me. I'm able to feed, I'm able to do this. But is this really sustainable? If I didn't have my parents' house where I could keep my rental stuff, or at some point when I got a car that I could actually drive, pack things, if I didn't have that, that would have been more expensive for me. And I'm like, at some point, I looked at all the accounts. I'm like, is this worth it? Is it sustainable? Then, the book you 150K, 300, and it looks like big money. But by the time you finish doing the job, you go back, you're tired, you're drained. Maybe at the end of the day, we pay everybody. You do this, things that are broken, you pay for service charge, all those things. Just say like 30K or some ridiculous amount. Not necessarily lesser, but it wasn't sustainable. I could have continued, but I'm not ready to please people. Everybody around me was like, yeah, you're doing well, you're doing this, but because I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I definitely have a family. I definitely want to have my own family, and like, yes, I would have kids to take care of. I would have myself to take care of. So is this the change I actually want to use to survive? Definitely not. And kudos to those then and now that really made it out of event planning. All fingers are not equal. Most people survived. Most people had good networking systems that supported, which is fine. I'm happy. But for me, it actually didn't work for me financially. I actually still do enjoy doing it, but I just had to hold on a bit at some point in time. One valuable lesson I learned as an event planner is being able to communicate properly and being patient, being kind, being on time, and finding a way to please your customers all the time. Sometimes I've had times where a customer can just call you at odd hours and the event is like quarter to go. And she's like, oh, I need this and this is what I want. This is how I want it. I'm like, what's going on? But I realized that then I go extra mile. I don't care how it is or what it is. I find it. I make sure I always find what my client wants. I don't care what time I sleep, placing calls, looking for vendors everywhere in the whole of Lagos State. I must find it, and I always do find it. I'm sure there will be questions. So if you ask me about what I did to overcome challenges as an event planner. There are so many parts to event planning which people don't understand. You have the event decoration. You can be a decorator. You can be a balloonist. You can be a planner. You can just be a coordinator. You can decide to be a caterer. But the truth is, then everybody was just like doing everything. You can just choose one and stick with it. So anyone who's going to actually get into event planning, just choose your niche and focus. Yeah, but it wasn't really paying me, so I digressed into different things. So afterwards, I wouldn't say afterwards, but in the process, during the years, I came across a water factory. So someone close to me rented out some place for their office, and the previous owner had this water factory, but he already moved out of the country. And you're like, oh, okay. Since you're just doing event planning, definitely have time on your hands that you can use to actually manage this water factory. So why don't you come and look at it? Look at the equipment that is available. Look at what you need. And I don't want to be involved in it because I really don't know much about it. But if you can manage it, let me know what you need. So I went in. I scouted all through. I was like, okay, they have good machines. They have a space and everything. So I did my own work and reverted back about what I would actually need to kick off the water factory. I maintained the same name and everything, the logo. I got contacts of the old people. When I was in the space of Ogba, the water factory also had a truck, which was nice to know. So it was a pure water factory, not a bottled water factory. So I started employing people. In the space of time I worked at this, I know that for the workers that were coming in and out, because those kind of workers don't stay too long, I did recruitment for like almost 200 people. I'm not even exaggerating. Because you have drivers, you have someone that will come today, that will stay 1 week, 2 weeks. Some people there, I just noticed that they just want their money for the week or 2 weeks, come around. And that's when they tell you that their mother's brother, uncle's cousins died and not everything like that. They disappear into thin air. So you keep having to get people because it's a factory thing. So it was working fine to an extent. However, I didn't really get, because I am managing this, I'm not being paid salary. I was working to make it work, but before I now put a salary structure for myself. And it wasn't as if the business was in my name. But, I was just interested in building something and creating something beautiful out of that, making it a success. But when I didn't even get the support from the real owner in terms of financial, they were just like, okay, just do what you have to do. I'm like, with what? That happened, and at some point, I stopped working and just focused completely on my event management journey. So that's actually what led me moving away. Aside from that, there were personal reasons to why I moved away from overseeing the water factory, and kind of influenced my other ventures that I would be sharing with you later on. Just so to recap everything we have actually spoken about today that I've shared with you people, I shared with you the genesis of my failure and how the spirit of entrepreneurship started in my life as I grew. I shared my inspiration with you, how I was inspired to start a soap making business and event hostessing to being an event manager, then also overseeing a water factory. So one more thing I just wanted to share with you that's actually interesting, I just remembered, is that then I remember I applied for EcoBank. So in GRA, for your business. So I want this beautiful multicolored coat. So I wanted to pitch my business to Otumba Gaddafi, may so rest in peace, and some lady, Ngozi, one beautiful fair lady like that. And I pitched it then. EcoBank was like a movie set, and I pitched the soap making then. And the lady looks at me and she's like, "You're so beautiful. I love your coat. I think you should look into fashion." I'm like, huh? What did you say? Okay, I remember that very clearly. I can't even forget. Then, secondly, Otumba Gaddafi mentioned something to me. He said, because I told him, it was like, oh, how you keeping like your location? I was like, oh, I'm not paying for location. I was so proud of myself making out like, oh yes, I use my father's house. And he was like, sorry, like, you're a business person. What if they send you away tomorrow and tell you that you cannot use your space? To be honest, I couldn't answer. I was dumbfounded because I was like, what is this saying? How can they send me out? So these are the things you actually face. And not like anyone sent me out, but that was a real question at that point in time. But I was pretty young. I think I was like barely 18 also. So anyways, I'm looking forward to having more conversations with you people. And this is the first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, kindly drop your questions and I will read to answer you. My name is Oluwatoyin. It was nice talking to you. Have it in mind that 20 years of failure. Next episode is coming soon. Bye.